Welcome to our program. Weekly news is coming from Natural TV, Ankara, Turkey. As we know, presenting all the actualities during this week. So let's discover the first one. During this week, our camera, Natural TV, have been recorded something really so risky, like the irregular migrant. Now they put themselves in Aegean Sea. I think it's the same actuality, but it's more risky. What do you think about it, Islam?
Thank you, Ms. Aisha. As we say, the irregular migrants are drawn in Aegean Sea. Like as I talked the previous comments on the irregular migrants in Turkey, the fact is much more humanitarian and much more emotional, because they are taking so much risk. They're using Aegean Sea to go Greece, to go Hungary, to go Cyprus, and this kind of things is really so much risky, because most of the people, I mean, out of 100%, 80% people are dying in the sea, and you know, the most of the refugees, like Syrian people, or like the people who are coming, as we talked before, the Bangladeshi, the Pakistani, Afghanistan, the peoples who are using the route of Turkey to go to the Europe, they are using this Aegean Sea, and this kind of things too much risky, because the people, they're using very small shape and to go. It's not even the shape, I mean, it's like a, you can say, boat they're using to go to the go to the Greece or like Europe, and through this kind of boat, and it's too much to take their life in the sea, and they can drowning in any time. As we see, like this 31 migrants rescued by the Turkish coast army, or like the Turkish security forces. So this fact is shows like how much people are taking their risk to go to the Europe, because they need an economic, and they want to develop their economic standard. They think that when they can go to the Europe, they will get refugee status and get some money or those kind of stuff, but they're taking their risking their life in one hand. So this is the fact. Actually, that's what we are showing this current world.
So horrible. Yes,
exactly.
I think the Europe now, it becomes a dream country.
Yeah, of course. Like in some aspects, Europe is for refugees. Actually, it's not. We cannot say it's a dream country. The fact is, like, the refugee, they need a job. They need a job. They need a place. I mean, there, and they think that Europe, at least they have some laws, whatever the situation. Because we know the current the racist, or even the far rightist movement in Europe. It shows like for them it's not easy. Actually, the life will not be actually what they're thinking. The life will be more risky in Europe, because the European people in so many extent they are really so much racist towards refugees. Yeah, of course they have so many welcoming people to the refugees, but in other aspects they have so many varieties people in Europe, and it has been increased, and it shows like those people who are going and thinking that Europe will be their dreamland. Unfortunately, it will not be like this.
Yes, but they still taking this risk
in the sea.
Yes, so risky. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, Islam, let's continue the actuality. Actually, it's we will still with Turkey. Why Turkey like still refugee hosting a country? Do you have some details about it? Is it for economic reason, political reason? For which reason they have this strong refuge?
The first thing that I want to reject the things, the political or economic things for Turkey to host refugees. You know, the Turkey, what Turkey is doing, the reality is that Turkey is not doing it for economy or political purposes. Just only for humanitarian purposes Turkey is doing this. Till now, Turkey is hosting 3.9 million and registered refugees, and unregistered, if we say it, is almost more than 5 million. And that's only, you can say, the Syrian refugees in Turkey. So even also also the UN, they are observing a day, celebrating a day, World Refugee Day on 20 June, and it shows the world they have a 70.8 million refugees, and out of these Turkey is hosting this 3.9 million refugees, and it means it's really huge, and Turkey is the #1 and top refugee hosting country in the world. So that's the issue. Even the Turkish government, they're facing so many problems in their domestic politics for this kind of issue. Even their like a national municipal election, though so many elections, they're facing so many questions about this, the why you are doing this. But the fact is, the reality is this Turkey is really doing a great job, I mean, for humanitarian purpose, and based on humanity, based on humanitarian purpose, based on humanitarian things. Because what Turkey did, the world countries, the other countries, the other even also economic superpower, economic powerful countries, they are not doing nothing. I mean, if you see like some of the top most economic country in the world, from Europe to West, from Europe to US, or from USA to even also Gulf, Middle East richest country, they are not accepting any refugees in some extent. I mean, they are accepting, but it's also controversial. But what Turkey is doing is like open door for all the kind of refugees, where Turkey shows their gate open for humanity, and the base is really humanitarian purpose. To my view, it's simply humanitarian purposes. Yeah, of course they will be benefited in economic way from refugees, because if the refugees will be the working people, and it will be also helpful for Turkey. But in one hand, Turkey is really doing a very great work from humanitarian based or from humanitarian perspective.
But the problem now that Turkey is facing two different concepts, which means when you talk about conception, humanity conception or economic conception, they are so different. Which means they're facing economic social problem, but humanity, it's another side, it's another link. So it's different really to mix it.
Exactly, because it's for example, Turkey is hosting a refugee. Like if we take an example, the Syrian refugees in Turkey, from since 2013, or you can say 2014, the Syrian refugees were coming in Turkey, and now it's almost 5 million Syrian refugees here.
Huge.
So it's huge. Yeah, at first time, it was fully and simply for humanitarian purposes. But the fact is, to integrate to the society and economic integration, it's not easy, that much easy. And that's what the Turkish government, they are planning to move, I mean, one or some part to move to their home country. Turkey is trying to banishing the terrorism in Syria. Turkey try to free their land from the terrorist people or terrorists, and they are trying to move these refugees to their land. They are trying to make it free for them. They are trying to make it, I mean, okay for them. So that's what actually Turkey is now planning, and I think if they can do it, of course they will be successful. And the other people, I mean, who already came and sustained and must make a successful life in Turkey, it will be also benefited for Turkish economy, because they are contributing, not other country. They are not sending money from Turkey to their home country. They are investing their money in Turkey. Even when they are benefited the money, they are again investing in Turkey. So this is the also benefit. Turkey will be ultimately benefited country. And on other hand, of course, these are huge refugees, and for Turkish future, of course, Turkey should make a possible solution. What Turkey is already doing to send them to their home country, to make a free for their country, to make their country possible, I mean, living ground to live there. And Turkey is doing this. So if Turkey can do it, there will be a possible solution for their refugees.
Yes, we hope that they will have a second plan for them.
Of course they have. Of course.
Thank you so much. Among the exclusive actualities during this week, we put an accent for the confirmation Iran shot down USA. So, do you think that Iran will increase the tension of this situation, or it has another plan for calm the situation?
the issue is actually Iran is not increasing the tension. The issue, if we see in the news, Iran shot down US drone. So the first question it should to came to us, like why US actually sending their drone to the Iranian sovereignty. That's a really fact of international law and international what we understand. Like
do you think it's like a provocation? This kind of
that's from another perspective. It's a provocation from not from Iran, but rather it's provocation from USA. I mean, they just try to make a placement for war, and that's what we are seeing by this kind of way. Iran shot down US drone in the Gulf and in the Strait of Hormuz. As we know, the Strait of Hormuz and the total area is totally under of Iran, and Iran has a sovereignty to do whatever they need for their own sovereignty, for their own security. So the fact, like what US doing, they are trying to make a situation to make involved in war. But on the other hand, we know, like even the last one day before the news has been published, it said like this way: USA they already take a decision. I mean, New York Times, they said like this way: US already took a decision to attack on Iran, but at the end of the last time they cancel the war. And the US intelligence service like a CIA and also there are other groups who are involved with this kind of war or those kind of foreign policy. They already everyone's agreed except their defense ministry. And as we know, till now the defense ministry said that we don't want war in Middle East again, like what we see we have experienced of Iraq, and also we have experienced in Afghanistan. So the fact is, like, the USA now they are also thinking maybe there will be limited war, not like a full scale of war, but there will be limited scale of war as we see. We are not expecting, but as we see, the issue is going to be like this. And USA may be using their alliance country like Saudi Arabia or like United Arab Emirates or maybe Israel to involve with this kind of war. But we expect to be possible peace for this region, because it's very important to be a peaceful rather than to involve with a war, and it will be really, really dangerous and dreadful for the stability of this region to involve with any kind of war.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
As we know, Islam, that last year we lived the big event about Khashoggi murder, actually. And I'd like to ask you, do you think that Saudi Arabia is the only one responsible about his murder, or it has another hands or another international relationship about his murder, actually?
The issue we had to again discuss on Jamal Khashoggi's murder. The issue, Jamal Khashoggi, he was murdered in Istanbul in the consulate of Saudi Arabia, and he was in that time he was a resident of USA, and he came to Istanbul because he was going to marry a Turkish lady, and he has a fiance of Turkey, and that's why he needs a paper from Saudi Arabia. That's okay, according to the Saudi Arabian law, if you want to marry another one, even also Turkish law, you have to take a paper. Exactly. So do embassy. Without embassy, there will be no opportunity. No possibilities to resolve this problem. And when he went to the embassy, as we know, the fact he was murdered, and this news already published in all over the world, especially international media. They focused the issue because he was the Khashoggi himself. He was a journalist, and he was a very famous journalist in Washington. He was writing in a Washington Post.
When you talk about his background, he was against the system.
Exactly, he was always talk against the Saudi Arabian system. Current political system, and even also he was trying to tell so many things against the current the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. So the news again is gives so much importance because the United Nations, they make some report. I mean, one report on the last week, they said that behind the scenario of to kill or murder Jamal Khashoggi, it was Saudi Arabia and also their Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. So this news is really, I mean, very vast and very important news and crucial, because the one of the statesmen in Saudi Arabia, one of the very influential policymaker of Saudi Arabia, he was involved with this kind of murder. No, though, I mean, people's, I mean, or international media, they already acknowledges that Saudi Arabian Crown Prince is behind this. But United Nations report make it more stability and more, I mean, reality and real fact about this issue. It shows like, okay, there's that Jamal Khashoggi, he was murdered by the ordered by Mohammed bin Salman. So this issue, yeah, the current world politics is inside of Mohammed bin Salman and also Saudi Arabia. But the issue is like today or tomorrow, the Jamal Khashoggi, he will get justice. I mean, his family will get justice, and this issue will not be resolved, maybe not easily, but the fact will be factual, and the context will not be unforgettable in future. In the future, we will see like the justice will come, and who are behind this kind of killing, they will get, they will get their punish for what they did.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you so much for your attention. Our journal today is finished. Salam.